Hi mamas, and welcome back to Adventures in the Schoolhouse. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we have my good friend and neighbor Andrea Owen, mental health expert, with us today to come and share her thoughts and her heart with us. We've all been through so much during this time of COVID and just this pandemic, and we want to have her come and help us with some coping and calming strategies that will help not only us as mamas, but our kids as well for a happy, healthy home environment. We are going to chat with Andrea about some ideas and strategies for staying calm during this time of transition and change that has been very difficult for all of us. I have created my Calm Down toolkit, and that we're using with our little learners here in the schoolhouse. And in here are just some cards with strategies. This is my Breathe Bear strategy for little ones on how to count to 10 and do that belly breathing that Andrea is going to show us in a little bit. So different calming strategies and also distractions for little kids to kind of take away some of that anxiety and stress and shift their mindset or their perspective into focusing on something else. So we're going to also show you how to create a calm corner of your own outside or inside your home with some soft pillows and some books and some other sensory things. We're also going to share with you our calm lavender Play-Doh recipe, so you can see that in our other video with real lavender essential oil, and it's very soothing for the kids to roll out and to breathe in that essential oil. It's very calming, so we hope you enjoy that, and we can't wait to have Andrea with us. All right guys, so we are finally back with Andrea Owen after 6 long months of pandemic. And so welcome, friend.
Thank you.
It's such an honor and blessing to have her back with us and having her share her time and her heart with us. We just want to touch on some things that mamas have really been struggling with, all of us, which is of course being isolated, and we've had our stay away orders and distance learning and all of these challenges that we've had just as a community over the last 6 months. So we wanted to get some tips from our mental health expert here to talk to us about some calming strategies and coping strategies for this season during COVID.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I agree. I just feel there's been so much change, and again, change builds resiliency, and there's an opportunity for growth, not just with yourself, but with your family. But that can be hard, and there could be grieving that has come from this time as well. And so a lot of those different emotions are emotions that parents have and that kids have, and they're trying to contend with all of the change. And then right when they feel that they have a grip on it, it changes again. Right.
Yes.
And so I thought, as we were going to talk, just the things that I've been using with my family, that I've been working with other families, and we've been integrating some of these resources or some of these tips and tools to help you just kind of navigate these kind of uncharted territories. And there's always good in hard times. There's always something that you gain if you have a hard time in your life, that you can look back and see the growth or see how you became stronger as a person. And as children are kind of going through this time and they don't know how to label their emotions or cope with these different changes and stressors, I thought just some tips that I can offer just to...
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so just to help support families. And I know I'm going through it myself, and so So the first tip that I just had that has been something that we're trying to do just daily is just mindfulness activities. And those are the things that you can do that can be literally just at the start of the day, just a couple of minutes of just even meditation, just things that help you be in the moment, that help you just get in touch with how you feel, what's in your environment, what is the smell, what is the sound, and it helps you just get connected with yourself. And I feel like right now we're just, as things are speeding by, we're very disconnected with ourselves. And the more we're connected with ourselves and our emotions, the more we can model that to our children.
That is so great. I love that you shared that, because I know that even when parents don't, they may not be, verbally through language, talking to their children about their anxiety or the stress or some of their fears that they have during this time. Kids are so smart. They pick up right up on it, right? So they pick up on our energy and on whatever we're feeling. Definitely. So that is a really good point. So that if the parents and us as mamas are grounded and centered, and then we can model that for our kids, and our kids can pick up on that positive energy and feel like they're in a calm place and in a safe place. And that's really the environment that we want to create for our kids, a healthy, happy home, right?
Definitely.
So
yeah, some tips kind of even within the meditation or with the mindfulness activities would be belly breathing. And so just even something as simple as telling your child, and you're doing it along with them, that you're starting the day off with putting your hand on your belly. And the first step is you put your hand on your belly and you take deep breath and you count to 3. So you put your hand on your belly and you count to 3 in through your nose. And then step 2 would breathe out through your mouth and you count to 3 as well. So 1, 2, 3 out through your mouth. And step 3 would be that you repeat steps 1 and 2.
Right.
So something very simple, even a guided imagery where you're starting off the day, just everyone with their eyes closed, kind of going to a safe place, and or just even
a happy
place, and helping them identify a happy place, and prayer, and just different things that just slows down the mind, the body, and helps you be in your present place.
The present moment. That's awesome. And that breath that you're talking about is very much that yoga breath, right?
Yes.
That us as adults know, but so awesome for kids to be able to do yoga at home with their moms in the backyard under a shade tree, and like you said, be just out in nature and focusing on their breathing and their bodies and what they're feeling, and just being centered. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome idea.
Great. The next one I had, and the next one that I thought might be helpful, is a feelings journal. And this could be just a journal that you buy at Target. It could be a journal that's kind of colorful, that has blank pages. More and more they're starting to be just different models of what a feeling journal might look like. You could go to Dollar Tree and get a composition book, and even cut out some pieces of a magazine and help that child make it their own. And then even have little scripts each day or a couple times a week that they just identify how they're feeling. This is just very just changing times. Things are constantly changing, and so it's hard for a child, especially a child who needs consistency, who needs predictability, to have some sort of safe place where they can go and slow down and identify their emotions. And so a feeling journal is a great tool that I use with not only myself but with my family, so that they can develop their self-awareness to help identify their just emotional labeling. And with emotional labeling, it helps to increase their emotional literacy. And so the more they know themselves, the more they can develop that kind of emotional language 101.
I love what you said, emotional IQ or emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
And just putting those words, labeling our emotions and putting those words with them. And for children, just being able to write down their feelings and to even draw and doodle. I know my kids are big into that at night before they go to bed, reading, and then drawing and doodling. And I feel like art is such an expressive outlet, and just a great release. So is music. I know we've talked about that. I want to touch on Play-Doh. We have an amazing calming lavender recipe for Play-Doh, so you all can make the lavender Play-Doh at home, which has the lavender essential oils and actual dried lavender in there. It's so soothing for kids to be able to kind of roll that out.
I love that.
And just releasing energy, rolling that out, and just a fun way for them to have like a tactile sensory experience.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's perfect. And I love that piece that you add. It could be where you're writing your emotions. And then kind of talking about and drawing out or writing out how those emotions make you feel, and what is your body doing when you have those emotions. And so is your heart is your heart rate going fast? Are your palms sweating? Do you feel agitated?
To check in.
Yes,
check in with your body.
Yes, a self-check, like a body scan, it's actually called, where you're kind of checking in from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, so that you start to understand, okay, what is the emotion? What's triggering me? What is causing that emotion? And the more you understand the emotion, you can understand different strategies and tools on how to respond to that emotion. Perfect. So that the emotion doesn't take you over, but you're taking that emotion on and kind of working through those emotions.
And you're owning it, and you're saying, okay, what am I feeling right now?
Definitely.
And then you're allowing yourself to feel it, because that's part of being human, and we need to feel all feelings.
Yes.
Feel it and just own it and feel it, and then release it, right?
Yes.
And so acknowledging that, I love that. I know some of the little kids here in the schoolhouse will have little stress balls, and that's another fun one for little kiddos. Blowing bubbles for the smaller, the preschool kids. Doing the freeze dance, or counting to 10, or So a lot of little tips for the little ones, but for some of the older kids, elementary school, or even adults, because I feel like we all can, us moms can use these same strategies, right?
Definitely. And again, it goes back to how the parents are modeling this self-awareness, this social awareness, relationship skills, conflict resolution techniques.
Oh, that's a great point.
Goes back to we have to demonstrate this as parents.
Right.
And so the children, just like academic IQ, emotional IQ is very similar. They aren't going to be able to learn this without the model, without the instruction. Absolutely. And especially now, especially when children are seeing all this change and all this unknown, this is going to be an opportunity to build grit and build resiliency, but we have to integrate the emotional tools and the skill sets and the coping skills to be able to help them grow in this area.
Right. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah. So the next one that I thought that I have found to be very helpful, not only in the settings when I work with children, but at home, has been a calming corner.
Right.
And this, my theme right now, because I'm kind of stepping into the homeschool world myself, is just keep it simple. I think I want it to be creative. I want to bring in all these things, but I'm just going to use what I have. So just use what you have at home.
Absolutely.
And it's just a safe space. It's a calm space. You can have nature music. You can have coloring. You can have just calming books. You can have just a place where a child, if they're feeling an overwhelm of emotions, it could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be feeling like a sense of loss, or just where they're feeling down. You need a safe space to go. So this is a calming corner, just a place in your home where you can identify as your family, and you can create it together, that this is where you can go when you just need some down, where it could just be even reading a book,
just
or
a few minutes.
Yes.
A few minutes alone. It can be, like you said, in your home, just in a small corner. It can also be outside, like under a shade tree, and just do a little pop-up calm corner. So we're going to show you what that looks like today. And speaking of books, since you touched on that, we've got some great books that we're going to link into the video, and that are just some pretty, I think, powerful messages, and a great, I just feel like tying in literacy and tying in the literature to the calming corner, where the kids can pull away and read, and reading stories where the characters are either have gone through a challenging time, where they're demonstrating resilience and grit, as you mentioned, or something like this, which is The Invisible String by Patrice Karst. Love this one. It's all about separation. It's a great separation resource. So all about relationships and promoting healthy relationships. Great. And when people can't be together. So I love this because that's where we've all been these last 6 months. So we haven't been able to be together in person necessarily, but that we're all together in spirit, and that we can still be connected to our loved ones and to our families and friends. So this is a great one that we'll put in the calm corner. The way that I feel, and I love this because this ties into what Andrea was saying about identifying and naming their feelings. So kids get to actually see these illustrations and identify, and then kind of name their feelings and those corresponding emotions.
That sounds great.
This one's Dr. Seuss. I love this, My Many Colored Days. And it's kind of just illustrating, beautiful illustrations, bright colors, but talking about how, hey, it's not one size fits all, and we're not going to all feel the same way at various different points of the day, and each day is different, and each day is an adventure. And so some days you feel happy, some days you feel sad. And so he does a great job with this book identifying feelings through just these expressive illustrations. So a bunch of books that we're going to add to the Calm Corner, and we will put a list with a link so that you guys can access those as well as a resource and tool for you mamas at home.
I love that.
Yeah,
and I would say that's a resource I commonly use, are books. There's just so much power in books, and I pause oftentimes throughout the book and say, how do you think she feels right now, and what is her facial expression, and what do you think she's thinking, and how do you think she can deal with that? And so I pause oftentimes throughout the book to build their social awareness. What's not just the awareness of yourself, which is self-awareness, but that social awareness. How do others feel? How can I help? How can I be an upstander in that moment? And how do I make that situation better, or how do I make that situation worse? And so
that's a great point.
So I really use books as a way to just help them again build that emotional literacy.
That's awesome. And when they can go back for that second read and do like what we call close reading, where you close read with the kids, and they can again identify with how the character's feeling, they're building empathy, right? So they're building empathy and compassion, and that's so awesome. I love that. We do that here in the schoolhouse, so that's awesome.
I love that. So next would be a big one for me, and I feel this personally right now because I feel like life is in disarray, and I feel a lot of us, there's not one person I haven't spoken to. I personally feel that life has been new, and there's a lot of newness, and I'm not sure if it'll ever go back to the way it was, and there's opportunity in that, but there's also that need for just things feeling safe. And the way things feel safe is by consistency and by having clear expectations, or clear just things, making it clear what you can count on. And so that is something that I have found to be very beneficial to my family at this time, and for myself, is that creating order by planning ahead. And we don't know everything that's happening. Things are constantly changing, but I can tell my children, and I feel when we can manage it by having order.
Absolutely.
And I feel you can speak a lot to this because you're a veteran mom, and you've had a lot of experience with homeschooling and just providing that consistency in the education and expectations. And so I think you're a great resource to talk about this.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I am a veteran mom, and I'm a mother of 4, as many of you know. And I've been a mom for over 25 years. So we've been through all different seasons, right? In our life, and kind of seen it all. But when I started my journey as a homeschooler many years ago, we didn't have the tools and the resources that we have today. We didn't have the co-ops, and we didn't have the homeschool journals, and we didn't have the charter schools and the support that we have today. And so I kind of want to be that one-stop shop here in the Little Red Schoolhouse to come along mamas and support them. And in doing so, we created this awesome homeschool planner.
Great.
And that we can use not just for this year and during this season, but it doesn't have dates on it, so we can use it year after year, really.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, which is fun. And I wanted to be able to share it with you because I too believe that it's vitally important for kids to have that consistent schedule, that order you mentioned, but that natural, those rhythms. And it provides, when kids know that they eat at a certain time and sleep at a certain time and nap at a certain time and have certain times where they do their schoolwork or their sports, and we can integrate it all in a healthy way. They plan for it, they count on it, and it offers them just that safety and that sense of calm. And it's both emotionally as well as biologically.
Definitely.
And so I feel like that's really important for that happy, healthy home. And so super excited to share this with you, my friend. So Homeschool Planner, Little Red Schoolhouse, and you can order it online, and you can download it online, or you can buy it from us, and we'll ship it to you bound, either way. But yeah, we start out with that homeschooling with a purpose. And I feel like that's really important because you have to kind of know where your beginning point is and what your purpose is. And I feel like as moms, that God has really put us in charge of our children as their first teacher, and you know, that we're their first teacher, and that we're made to do this. We're really made to be those role models for our kids, and both spiritual teacher, but as well as, you know, an academic teacher. So I love that. And then creating a vision statement. So a family vision statement, I think that's really important in terms of like getting your vision out there for the year, writing it down, because goals are just dreams that you are putting into action. You're just writing them down, you're making them actionable,
I love that.
And right? And
that.
so, thank you. And so, family vision statement, let's see, goal setting, and I think that that's really important. Andrea, you touched on that, you know, homeschool moms, I've had a lot of moms reach out to me saying, I don't know where to start, and I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I think that that's where this piece will be really come in handy. But goal setting, I don't want people to feel overwhelmed, so creating a calendar, setting some realistic goals so that it's not overwhelming, I think is really important. Creating healthy habits we added, both spiritually, personally, academically, recreational. We added that in there. And then let's see, creating a weekly schedule. We've got creating the environment, which we already talked about, which is kind of that calm corner, and a space in your house that's going to be workable for all your kids as a learning environment. And then we added my mama manifesto, which was to my kids. And of course, each mom is going to have their own. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in here that we can, you know, just use as a tool and as a resource to come alongside moms and support them on their journey in homeschooling.
I love this.
Excited to share it.
Yes, especially right now, we're just needing that consistency, not only as parents, but children. Just something that they can count on.
Right.
And to have hope. And like you said, I think right now, more than ever, we just need to have, for kids to have order and feel that there's that safety in that,
Absolutely.
that consistency. So I love this as a resource.
Yay!
I can't wait to use it.
Yay, you're excited.
Yes, and I think the last piece that I have as a tip is just grounding techniques.
Grounding techniques.
And that's that can be just exercise. It can be unplugging and going outside. It can be, you've mentioned nature walks.
Yep.
It could be drinking a cold glass of water. It can just be the different things that for you ground you. And every person has something. It's different for each person. And I know for me, I wrote down a list. I had 6 things what are the top 6 things that ground me, and I try to do at least 3 a day.
That's awesome.
And a huge piece, I think we talked about this, is community and connection, and that's one of my core grounding techniques that I use for myself, is just those people that are safe, that I can say, I need help, or I'm overwhelmed, or this has been a hard day, can you pray for me, or can you be a support for me today because I'm feeling vulnerable, and those things that are grounding to you. Like I said, it's going to be different for you, but as you establish that and as you model that, then you pass that legacy of self-care to your child. Awesome. That is a life skill. It's a life skill. That is a life skill.
And absolutely, it's modeled and it can be taught. So that's incredible. I love that.
Great. So thank you for having me.
No, thank you.
Oh,
we can finally hug.
Yes, I've loved seeing you.
So good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you everyone for being here today.
Thank you. We hope you enjoyed these tips on how to stay calm during this time of uncertainty and change, and we hope that you visit our website at www.adventuresintheschoolhouse.com and purchase our Homeschool Planner. We hope that helps you create structure for your homeschool life with your kids to, again, create just a healthy, happy home. And please visit Andrea's website if you need further support for either you or your kids or your family. And come join our adventure in the Little Red Schoolhouse, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.